In the IPL 2020, Kings 11 Punjab has a big problem on its hands. It has one match coming up, but currently they are at the bottom of the table. In 7 matches, they have won only one match. My heart goes out to KL Rahul, a young man who has assumed captaincy, who is firing on all cylinders, a brilliant batsman by any stretch of imagination. And keeping him company at the top is Mayank Agarwal, the India opener. They are the only two who have consistently performed, and the anguish now shows on KL Rahul's face, particularly in the last match where it was such a close affair, and I believe they should have won it with ease, but that never happened. So the point is, what is going wrong with Kings 11 Punjab, and not only in this IPL, but barring one season where they reached the finals, they seem to have had a pretty rough time. Coming back to this IPL, let's talk about their star batsman, Glenn Maxwell. He was bought for 10.5 crores, a very huge amount. Glenn Maxwell is a name to reckon with as an international batsman, a brilliant fielder, a good, pugnacious, aggressive batsman. He's a match winner. But somehow or the other, when it comes to the IPL and Kings 11 Punjab, he's not been able to fire on all cylinders. If we look at his stats, he scored just 58 runs in 7 matches in this time. Now, Glenn Maxwell has a point of view. He says that when you are playing for Australia, then you are playing for a settled side. You know who is batting around you and what is expected of you. He also said, and I second that it is a settled combination. The batsman knows at which point he's going to come in and what is going to happen next. That anticipation is there. He says the IPL is a truncated format which wraps up in about 2 months' time. There are other players, so despite the camp and the training schedule, it becomes a bit tough to know each other's game. That is point number one. The second point which he has said, and he makes this point very emphatically, is that he's being juggled around. Now, has coach Anil Kumble juggled him around in this IPL season? That is a point that needs to be looked at, because that definitely has rattled Glenn Maxwell. And to quote him, because this is an interesting quote, when you're only together for 2 months in the year with IPL, there is going to be chopping and changing. You are always looking for that right team balance. This is very important, that you are always looking for that right team balance. So what he's probably saying is that Kings 11 Punjab haven't found that right team balance. The team you pick at the start of the tournament might not have the balance you think as you progress. We feel we are getting closer to that team balance. I have had different experiences where I have not quite performed to the level people expect, but there has been no lack of trying, putting the effort in training. Nobody is questioning that. So all eyes would also be on Glenn Maxwell in the coming match. All eyes were on Glenn Maxwell in the last match where they lost by 2 runs, and he hit a 6 towards the end of the last ball. If it had been 2 inches longer, they would have gone in for a super over. It was a 4 in the end, and they lost by 2 runs. My point there again was that why send Glenn Maxwell so late? He's your star performer. You are sending him after Prabh Simran, and those were questions being raised in the commentary box, and it defies all logic. Probably Anil Kumble should cop some of that blame and not leave it to the harried KL Rahul, who just sat there looking absolutely gutted as his team lost yet another match. When it comes to some of the other well-known players in the IPL auction, Kings 11 Punjab picked up England all-rounder Chris Jordan for 3 crores. They bought West Indies fast bowler Sheldon Cottrell, the man who salutes after taking a wicket. He was bought for 8.5 crores, and both of them have by and large flopped so far. So their Kings 11 Punjab might be wondering that we've paid the big bucks for 2 well-known names and they are not firing. So what could be the reason? Already time has flown where this IPL is concerned, and despite their best, obviously they've not been able to fire. My other point is, I saw the universe boss Chris Gayle at 41 warming the benches right through this tournament up till now. He's supposed to play the next match, but the point was that KL Rahul kept saying in the beginning that he's kept Chris Gayle for the second half of the tournament. A man like Chris Gayle would thrive on a certain rhythm, on a certain practice, on a fluidity. He would also thrive on continuity. Now, none of that was made available to him. If you do not want Chris Gayle in your side, then don't pick him at all instead of making him warm the benches like this. Anil Kumble came in later and said that he had a stomach bug, so they couldn't play him in the last match. But that stomach bug has not really incapacitated Chris Gayle. Obviously, they felt that he didn't fit into what KL Rahul was thinking. He was more comfortable with teeing off with Mayank, and that has paid off so far. So now that Chris Gayle is going to come in, is it too late? That's the question that needs to be asked. Nicholas Pooran is another player who has done very well for Kings 11, and he's had a couple of good innings. He always exudes that busy attitude of a good player. It's fun to watch, but one Nicholas Pooran is not going to make the day. I particularly took to the under-19 star leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi. He's quite a delight to watch, and a lot of positive comments have been made about him. Sunil Gavaskar the other day kept saying, oh, it's a delight watching him play. I just felt that he pushes in a lot of these fastish googlies, and they are wicket-taking googlies. I think he got Finch on one of those googlies. He just couldn't read it. But where the top batsmen are concerned, someone like a Ravi Bishnoi will be sorted out. He needs to think about his variations and not only just depend on the fastish googlies to take wickets, because batsmen of today and the coaches and the team management of today, they study each and every bowler, particularly a young bowler, very, very closely. And while it is a delight to watch Ravi Bishnoi, and I wish him all the best, but he would need to probably introduce more variations, slightly slow it down somewhere, and not just keep depending on the googly to get him wickets. The Kings 11 Punjab middle order needs to be sort of sorted. It's been a flop show so far, and it's a pretty worrying factor. So overall, where my take is concerned, I would feel that this frequent shuffling of the batting order must stop. There, Kumble has to put his hand up and take the blame to some extent. Chris Jordan, for example, was played in one match, then dropped. They have 3 wicket keepers, Pooran, Prabh Simran and KL Rahul. Please remember what happened to Team India in the 2019 ODI World Cup. We had 3 wicket keepers. They kept yelling and screaming that at number 4, bring in Ambati Rayudu. But obviously, Virat Kohli or Mr. Ravi Shastri both had a problem with him. He was not brought in. We all know the emotional drama that happened. He retired from cricket, then later he came back. And Ambati Rayudu would have certainly been an excellent number 4, but that's history. But playing 3 wicket keepers in a World Cup, India did pay a price, and there were a lot of questions being asked why it happened. Kings 11 Punjab are repeating that mistake. Their bowlers, Mohammad Shami, the India fast bowler, is a brilliant bowler. Cottrell, Bishnoi, so they all add up. But Shami has a problem in the death overs. He leaks too many runs. He's not able to control the sixes. He is a wicket taker, so they do have a problem with the death overs. And this is something that they need to worry about. They need a settled combination going ahead. Even now, if they win a couple of matches, it just might give them that impetus. And the role of the coach needs to be studied more closely. Twitter and other social media, they've been highlighting reactions from different fans and from cricket lovers that Mr. Anil Kumble has the propensity to keep changing and chopping the order. Is he taking those decisions on his own? I don't know. But the problem is that the coach will have to certainly take a large part of the blame. The team management needs to think about it. Time is running out for Kings 11.